Alright, let's try this again. I think I have my phone working right now. I've been farting around with Chester a bit, installing a roof vent. It's been quite an adventure. I've made some mistakes that I wish to show so that if you are watching this, you do not make the same mistakes. So I have the roof vent here. It is a cheap-ass roof vent, but I think it will be fine. A knob attaches to it that raises and lowers this flap on the top. I have a fan that goes in it. It is a single-speed, single-direction fan, but I have a plan to cobble together a in-channel MOSFET H-bridge driven by an ESP8266 module to via the PWM pins to change the direction and speed of the fan. So that should be an interesting project, maybe, if I ever get around to it. So, as you can see, if I climb back up here again without busting my ass, the van roof has these ridges in it, so you can't just hook the fan straight down to them or it'll leak. So I glued this adapter on here, which is made of CNC milled PVC. It actually cost more than the actual vent and fan combined, but I lack the skills to make something like this myself that is, fit close enough to not leak. So, as you will soon see. And then I framed it up on the inside with some pieces of 2x4. So I cut my 2x4 to length and left a little tab on the end that was, the right height to fit underneath of this thing, and scribed it to the roof with a compass and cut that out with a jigsaw, and then shoved it up in there and scribed the arch that the headliner will be at, and cut that with the jigsaw. Now, it was difficult to cut material that thick with the jigsaw without the blade kind of getting a little sideways sometimes, so it wasn't perfectly flat after being cut. I had to actually go back and cut it a little bigger and sand it flat some places, which was a pain in the ass. Using a bandsaw would probably be far better, but the bandsaw is down in the machine shop, and I didn't want to drive all the way down there. Now, this one fits pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. This one, however, is an exact copy of this one. Exact copy. I didn't scribe this one. I just made an exact copy of this one, and it doesn't fit right. I had to shim there a little bit, and it's still got a space up here, and I'll have to put a little piece of shim material on top of it when I put the headliner in, I think. So there's something weird going on with the roof. If you are watching this as you are getting ready to install your own roof vent, I would recommend scribing and cutting each of your pieces independently and hand fitting each of them instead of trying to do it the fast way like I did and end up with one that isn't right. The one up there is just a flat piece that's ripped to the correct dimensions other than the length. I cut it a little too short, but whatever. You'll see that it doesn't have anything going up into the humps there because the ridge of that cross member goes through under there. This one here, on the other hand, It looks like it fits a lot worse than it does because of the shadows and the paint, but I did have to scrub this one up to the ceiling, and it's not perfect either. But it's good enough. I mean, it's flush with the ceiling everywhere that a screw's going to go down through it, and I think that's what counts. So there's a great big space right there. I don't know how that happened, but that shouldn't matter, I hope. So anyway, yeah, as you can see, this is kind of a fuck up, but it's good enough. The thing that was a more serious fuck up, though, was when I glued this adapter in here, I used some body panel adhesive that I had left over from an old farm project. Here it is. I don't remember, 8013 or something like that. I don't remember. It's the 3M E-150 panel bonding adhesive. I fixed a tractor with it a long time ago, and I had an extra tube of it. And it's rated to join bare metal sheets together, like unpainted steel, and it's rated to join PVC together to PVC, and steel to steel and PVC to PVC. So I assumed that it would properly bond PVC to steel, unpainted steel. That we'll get into that in a minute. But so I think that's a reasonable assumption, but it didn't very well. See, another mistake, the next mistake that I made after not using the recommended adhesive was I didn't drill my pilot holes all the way through the metal and up into the PVC adapter. I only drilled and countersunk the wooden braces here. See, these are self-tapping roof screws with rubber washers removed from them, countersunk into these braces, right? So what happened was, you start screwing that up through there, and once the screw drills through the metal of the roof, instead of biting into the PVC adapter and screwing it all together, it just pushed the PVC adapter up off of the metal. And I'd let this stuff cure for like 3 days before doing this. You're supposed to leave it 24 hours. I figured 3 days would be plenty for it to have stuck on there, right? But it pushed the adapter up, like like a half inch or something, however much of that screw be sticking through there, between a quarter and a half, depending on how deep I got the countersink thing. I just kind of eyeballed that. And the epoxy was kind of rubbery under there. So I pushed it back down and got everything screwed back together, but I'm afraid that it's going to leak, and it feels like it bonded back upright. I don't know, but I mean, the stuff isn't rated to join painted metal together, painted steel. So I took a cup brush on an angle grinder and ground the paint off everywhere where I was going to glue this thing down. And I am afraid that if water finds its way in between the metal and this adapter, that it's going to rust, because there's no paint in between this adapter and the metal. I'm going to paint the rest of it, but there's no way to get paint under there, right? So I'm going to seal the outside with lap sealant. I feel confident that that'll be able to keep the water from coming in from the outside, but the problem is going to be condensation. If condensation gets up in here and kind of creeps in there, we may have a fuck up or something. I may have to go along here with something. I'm not sure what, though. What would make sure that's sealed? Figure something out. Anyway, so that was not smart and could lead to a major fuck up. I'm going to just finish it. I'm going to order another adapter so that I have it, and then I'm going to work on the rest of this shit, and then I'll have the adapter and just redo it some other time, because I want to get the floor done. I want to drive this thing up to Tandy Assembly, so I want to get a little bit done before then, you know. And I don't want to sit around with a big hole in the roof waiting for another adapter to get here. So something gets screwed over that anyway, so it might as well just be the vent, you know. All right, I guess that's it for now. Keep your powder dry.